Hello, it's week 18 of season 4 of the Andy Griffith Show. This week's episode title is Prisoner of Love. Barney, what's going on this week?
After work, I tell Andy that I might go over to Thelma Lou's house tonight and watch that George Brath movie on TV. And Andy says he might go over to choir meeting because they're going to vote on the new roads tonight. And then we get a call from the state police saying they want to keep the prisoner here tonight. And I say to Andy, well, I expect you're the one they'll want here to sign in and everything. I mean, you being the high sheriff, it's only Trotter. Well, I'll be on my way. But Andy tries to get me to stay instead. But then he can see that I really want to keep my date with Thelma Lou, so he says he'll do it. And then when he steps out to the drugstore to get a magazine for the night, the state police arrive and they bring the prisoner in.
Oh yeah, and you're real surprised to see that it's a very attractive woman charged with grand larceny of jewelry. And the police say they have to leave right away and get back to the stakeout they're conducting and try to get her partner.
And when they leave, she and I are alone. And I tell her my name when she asks, and she admires my name, and then she admires my badge. And then she wants a light for a cigarette, and I give it to her. And then Andy comes back, and I say, Andy, guess what? I really don't mind staying here after all. No, I really mean it. I don't mind. And Andy says no, and he sends me out. And then Andy is also surprised when he sees that the prisoner is a real pretty lady. And he says if she needs anything, he'll do it right here. And then I come back and I say, hey Andy, I checked in the theater on that movie, and it's one I've already seen. And Andy says no, he said he'd do it, and a deal's a deal. And I say, besides, this is nothing to the deputy's job. It wouldn't be right to trouble the high sheriff with it.
And then the prisoner asks for a pillow, and you and Andy about trip over each other, getting it for her. And then you hang a sheet on the cell as a privacy curtain for her, and you dim the lights for bedtime, and you try not to look at her silhouette on the curtain as she changes into her nightgown.
And then Otis comes in drunk and loud, and we tell Otis we can't take him tonight. And Andy makes me drive them home. And then the prisoner asks Andy to pull up a chair and talk to her. And he tells her a funny story. And she thanks him for a nice evening. And she has him come into the cell to help her with opening her makeup case.
And they almost start kissing, but then you come back in from taking Otis home, and you offer Andy some relief, and he says, yeah, he better go home.
And I say, I'll trouble you read a little, and then turn in. Don't you worry about a thing here now. And then at Andy's house, Aunt Dee thought she smelled some perfume on Andy. And then she goes to bed. Meanwhile, I'm trying to open the cell door lock that got jammed somehow. And then Andy comes back and sees her about to walk out of the courthouse with me locked in the cell. So he puts her back in and he lets me out.
And the next morning the state police come to pick her up, and she says she hopes that we're not angry, y'all aren't angry about her trying to escape.
And I say, oh no, I'm not angry. Are you angry, Ange? And she says we're both nice guys. And as they drive off, Andy says you can't blame the girl for trying, and I agree.
We'll see you next week for episode 19.